Hi, I'm Mike Bellevue. I'm the black powder editor for Guns of the Old West magazine. And today we're out here at the range with what I think is the prettiest revolver of the 19th century. This is the first model Richards conversion of the Colt 1860 Army. This was the first one that they converted to fire cartridges. And it's got some unique features, and we'll run you through those, and then we'll take it out to the range. In 1855, a man named Rollin White patented the idea of boring completely through a cylinder so you could load it with a self-contained metal cartridge from the rear. Smith & Wesson licensed that patent, and for the time it was in force, they effectively controlled the handgun market for cartridges. No one else could make them. So Colt was shut out. But after the Civil War, everyone could see cartridges were the way to go. And when the Rollin White patent expired in 1871, Colt brought out their first model Richards cartridge conversion of the 1860 Army revolver. Of course, the 1860 Army was a .44 caliber cap and ball revolver that loaded with either loose powder and ball or with paper cartridges, and it was one of the primary weapons of the Civil War. After the Civil War, Colt found themselves with huge stocks of parts for the .44 Army and no market because there were so many surplus guns on the market. So when the Rollin White patent expired, they decided to convert as many of these guns as possible, and their chief engineer developed this conversion method. With the first model Richards conversion, the only percussion 1860 Army parts that they did not use were the cylinder and the hand. The cylinders were made from scratch for cartridges for this gun, and the hand was converted from the simple hand that you find on Colt's cap and ball revolvers to the two-stage hand that you would see on the single-action Army. But other than that, they used all of the 1860 Army parts. Now, besides the cylinder and the hand, to do the conversion, they needed some purpose-built parts. And the most crucial one was the conversion ring. And that conversion ring basically fit on the front of the recoil shield. They had to cut the recoil shield down a bit. And it had a self-contained spring-loaded firing pin. So anybody who thinks that that's purely a modern invention, they had them back in the 1870s. And they cut back the hammer face to be able to work with it. So the ring had the loading gate on it, and it also had the rear sight mounted on it. And that's what allowed cartridges to headspace, was this ring. The other purpose-made part was this ejector assembly. And as you can see, it fits right into the slot in the frame cut where the rammer went on a cap and ball gun. And the whole thing is one complete assembly. It just goes right in, locks in place, and then it's held by one screw. And it is really elegant and very snazzy looking. The problem is it was also pretty expensive to make. It required a lot of machining. So on all the subsequent models, they just went to an ejector tube bolted on the side of the barrel. But on the first model Richards, you see this really cool Richards ejection system. Well, Evil Roy is prowling around our ranch again, and it's time to take him on with the Richards conversion. He's about 15 yards away, and we'll be shooting him with black powder. So let's see if we can make him dance. Now, this gun of mine was made by Armi San Marcos in the late 1990s. And it was the first of the factory-made cartridge conversion revolvers that came on the market. And prior to that, you had to go to somebody like Kenny Howell or John Gren and have them build you a conversion using your cap and ball revolver as a base gun, and it was quite expensive, though the quality was excellent. But a fellow named Dave Anderson got Armi San Marcos into this game, and he's a great firearms engineer. He works for Ruger now. And these guns came out, and eventually Cimarron was importing them, and this is actually one of the first prototype models that they were building, and I got it to test for a magazine article back in, I guess, 97, and I decided to buy it. This is chambered in 44 Colt, and that is the cartridge they were originally chambered in, except the original bore size was 4.52, and it used a heel-based bullet. And in the modern guns, they use a 4.29 inside lubricated bullet, just like a Smith & Wesson 44 Special or 44 Russian or 44 Magnum. It's all the same, except the cartridge case has a smaller rim in 44 Colt. Let's see how the Richards conversion can do on some water bottles. Well, it's time to give the Richards conversion a challenge that always happens. It's time to go on the Claybird rack, see if I can actually bust them. I got him. We'll finish off with the bad guy's view of the Richards cartridge conversion.